I'm Woody.
They can
Hi.
hear us now. So welcome everyone to today's live stream. Super pumped up about this giveaway. 50,000 users.
Yes,
We're
thank
so
you.
excited.
Thank you.
We've been waiting for this day. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Let us know if the volume is okay, if it's too loud or too whatever. We'll adjust it. And we're double excited today, not only because we're celebrating 50,000 subscribers, but we also have a guest for the first time on a live stream ever.
I love this guest.
Someone who helped us, right, many times throughout the years.
Changed our lives in a way.
Absolutely.
You're going to love this guest, everybody.
Welcome to the show, Mike.
Mike
Welcome
Young.
to the live stream.
Hello.
From Kiss Rebreathers.
Yeah, so I guess the occasion is to celebrate obviously 50,000 subscribers, but one of the people that was in I guess a couple of our videos at this point has been like intricate, like very important to our success is Mike, right? Mike created the rebreathers that we love to dive with, and people love to hear stories from Mike. I mean, I remember like one story that we haven't really talked about, and I don't know if we should share it today. Maybe another day, Mike. So hold back on that. Is this story from the Close Calls book? Like I remember reading that, and I'm like, what the? Like that was insane.
And how about the current project he's working on? I mean, he'll talk about that. It's just unbelievable what he's doing and discovering, and he'll speak for himself here. And by the way, when you guys are typing in the questions, type in questions for Mike.
Absolutely. That's why he's here. He wants to answer some questions from our subscribers and Mike's fans. We are both fans of Mike, of course. But before we get started, I just want to shout out Effie, who's on the live stream as well. He helped us out. He actually did 99.9% of the work for our shop. So shop.divetalk.com if you want some merch, some shirts.
This is all
Woody's fully decked out.
creation right here. The back of it has stuff.
Amazing.
The hat is just all created by Effie.
Awesome. And people are loving it. Great quality stuff. So definitely go ahead and check that in. And for everyone tuning in, of course, and the people, contributing via Super Chat, I see that some people started to do that already. Thank you so much, guys, for doing that. If you have a question for us or for Mike, go ahead and do that. But before we start answering questions, let's talk about the giveaway because people are here for prizes. I mean, might as well, right?
Absolutely.
So we don't have 50 prizes to give out. We have some big ones, though.
Is one of them that they get to
No.
blow up the jet ski?
No, it's not. I didn't even know what you were going to say, but I knew it was not one of them.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so we have 3 big prizes for you guys. One of them is Shearwater. Our friends at Shearwater, they gave us a Shearwater Peregrine to give away to our subscribers.
And it's such a great computer for those of
Pretty
you.
awesome, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, Shearwater in general is awesome. They're great to us. And for Gus and I, these are our go-to computers in general. Whether we're diving open circuit or whether we're diving rebreathers, and I know Mike can speak volumes about Shearwater because it runs all of his rebreathers as well. They're such in my mind, they're so leaps and bounds above any other computer I've ever used. I mean, I'm wearing one all the time on my wrist. I don't know if you could see it. There it is, right? My Tarek.
Your Tarek.
Anyway, I can't say enough about them. That's all we dive with. I think that's all Mike dives with as well.
Absolutely.
We're giving that away.
Yep, absolutely. So Shearwater Peregrine, it's $450 here in the U.S., even more expensive in some other countries. So we want to give one of those away to a lucky winner, which is going to be awesome. So even if you have a computer, this will be a good backup, or maybe this becomes your main computer and whatever you have is a backup, whatever it is. It's great.
I can't wait till you announce the way this is going to go of how they're going to win prizes today. This is something we've never done.
Right.
It's different than what you've ever seen before, but it's going to be pretty
wow,
fun.
Brian, thank you so much, man. Off-Grid Backcountry Adventures.
Wow.
Fun fact, and I've mentioned this before, he is our subscriber with the most subscribers. He has way more than us.
Wow.
We are actually big fans. I was watching your video yesterday of spending several days with his dog, like in the middle of nowhere, and like I think it was Colorado or something. And it reminded me of David Vigiano. Like that sounds like life goals for David.
Definitely.
Yeah, like Brian was out for days in like a little. It's a tent, but it's like the Taj Mahal of tents. Like the guy can put up a a big thing.
But David would want that same thing, but deep inside of a dry cave.
Oh, well, again.
Right, where, that's where he wants
Brian,
to be.
Brian is a total pipe hitter. I mean, he's awesome. So shout out to him. He gave us $50 super chat. So thank you, Brian, for that. All right, prize number 2. I wanted to announce, check this out, another company that has supported us since we started, Orca Torch. This is the Orca Torch D630. This is the flagship technical light from Orca Torch. It's actually our main light, Woody's and mine. Woody was diving with some other light. Let's just not mention any names.
Don't mention any names.
Right.
But
and finally, he, I think it was Ed who said, just get rid of it. That thing sucks. And then I just happened to have 2 D630. So I said, Woody, just try mine. Just you use one. I'll use my other one.
And with what kind of handle?
With a Goodman handle, which you were like, that thing is just not good. Like, it's not snug in my hand. It's going to be weird. And now what do you think?
Okay, I'm not easy to change this way. Mike knows me. Gus knows me. Like, once I have something, like, I don't want to just jump. I will never, ever dive with any other light again. Not only can I now see the cave, like, wow, there is a cave here because it's super bright, which I keep on the highest 4,000 setting lumen the whole time, and I've never even come close to using like 40% of the battery. The Goodman handle that I was so resistant, the big metal handle that I was worried was going to be uncomfortable, it just sits there on your hand. And you can easily slide the light on and off and then clip it off to point down if you're doing some work and then clip it back on. You can't feel it. The other thing that I was worried about is the battery, right? Sitting on my butt.
Yeah.
I was worried it was going to make me lose trim. I can't even tell it's there. The light is amazing, clear, easy to use. I'll never dive in the cave with another light again. So I can't say enough about it. The battery is different than other canister batteries that I've seen.
Yeah.
I'm no expert, but some of these canister batteries are freaking massive.
Yeah.
This one's not. It's pretty small back there. Mm-hmm. And, of course, it has the straps so it can fit in back on your butt really easy. It's pretty small, and it still has, like, the same relative battery life as some of these bigger ones. So
yeah, it's pretty awesome. And by the way, I want to make it clear that we get paid $0 from Orca Torch or Shearwater or any of these companies.
I bought my light.
Whenever we promote one of these products, because we actually love them. We don't get paid.
I paid full price for the light, everybody. Yeah. I bought the light, so I mean,
absolutely,
it's wonderful.
And Mike recently talked about Orca Torch, even though it was some other lights, but I mean, they are growing in the tech industry. Like, they're very reliable lights. So anyway, D630, if you check this out, Google this out, you'll see that this light is like $650 or something, $700, I don't remember. So it's a big price, one of the biggest ones we've ever given away. Right?
Thank you, Orca Torch.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for doing that. And lastly,
giving something else away? Okay, go ahead.
One more prize, and this might be the best one or the worst one, depending on how you see it.
I think it's the best one.
Okay. Woody is actually donating a weekend at his lake house.
A Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Friday night, Saturday,
so people
Sunday.
can come. The winners can come and stay at the lake house for the whole weekend. We'll come and hang out. Like, if they want to hang out with us for a whole weekend at the lake, ride around in jet skis.
So let me just do a quick description because I don't think they understand.
Can we?
I have a lake house.
No, come on.
We are going to blow up a jet ski, Mike. Not that weekend, but amen. We are definitely blowing up a jet ski, but not this weekend. So let me explain it. I have a lake house on Lake Lanier. Lake Lanier is about 45 miles outside of the Atlanta area. It's got 650 miles of shoreline. It's a great lake to swim in. It's a great lake to do water sports in. It's got restaurants all over the place. My house is right on the lake. It has a big outdoor fire pit. You could, whatever. Enjoy.
It has a hot tub.
It has an indoor hot tub. It's got like 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. It's really cool. Overlooks the lake. You watch the sun set every night. It's awesome. I'm donating that. No cost whatsoever to you. However, I also have a boat and 2 jet skis and a canoe and some other paddle boards and fun stuff.
Yeah.
I don't let people use, obviously, the boat and jet skis unless I'm there. So on the Saturday when you're there, because we're not going to interfere with your stay, but we'll drive up Saturday morning.
If they want to, yeah.
If you want us to drive up Saturday morning, We will break out the boats, break out the jet skis. I'll teach you. If you don't know how to wakeboard, you will learn how to wakeboard. We'll drive to the rope swing. We'll drive to lunch. We'll play around on the jet skis. We'll hang with you on Saturday, and then we'll go home Saturday night. Got some night and whatever, and you have the house, you know, until Sunday. And we'd love to have a blast with you at the lake house. So that's what that prize is.
So those are the three main prizes for the 50,000 members, 50,000 subscriber giveaway. So here's the contest. Let's talk about it because we hear you guys. I mean, people are always shocked that we interact with people on the comments and stuff. Yeah. But we love to hear from you. We value your feedback. So one of the things that we heard from previous giveaways is that people that don't have fast internet or that maybe are far away from us or whatever don't get to see the questions. There's always people that get to answer them first because they see them first. People are saying, it's like, how come are people answering before you even ask the question? That's how much the delay was. They hadn't even hear the question when all the people were answering. So we want to eliminate that out of the picture. So we thought it would be fun if we see the creativity in our subscribers. So here's what we want you guys to do. We want you to go and record your best, funniest, quirky, whatever you want to call it, impression of Dive Talk. Just me and Woody. Like a 2 to 3 minute video. Just think about, get creative.
Well, they'll all be about you because I'm not quirky and you are quirky.
Yeah. There's so nothing comes out of your personality that they could pick on and use on the video.
So be videos mostly about, you because I'm Norm. Okay.
Right. Just, pretend you're Gus and Woody, set something up, maybe a reaction, maybe a video outside diving, maybe walking around, driving your car. I don't care. However you do it. And then you can submit us, just upload it to YouTube as, unlisted or private or whatever. Don't make it public. Email it to us at info@divetalk.com. We will review all the videos, and then we're going to pick like our favorite 10 or whatever. And our Argonet members, the highest paying tier of members that we have, thank you, by the way, to all of you, are going to vote and pick the winner.
Yes.
So it's not even going to be up to us. So if you make our Argonets laugh and impress them, they'll vote for you and you'll get to win. And basically the top 3 most voted videos will be the top 3 winners, and they'll get to pick the prize. So whoever wins number 1 can pick whichever one they want from the 3. Whoever is second picks the one from the 2 that are left, and then the third gets whatever is left.
Very cool.
So that's how we're going to do it. You have a week. So for the next week, plan to record a video, 2 to 3 minutes, nothing super long, of your take on Dive Talk. Make it funny. Make it interesting. Think about what would make people vote for you. And whoever gets the most votes wins. That's it.
I would, just add that there are aliens. I mean, we've done so many videos. Okay. I don't want to go off on, sometimes I go off on tangents. I was just thinking about aliens for a second. Sorry.
Let's
Let's keep going. Stay on track because that happens.
By the way,
sometimes my brain, stop it. All
right. I want to show this because we did get this from Mike. He probably doesn't remember this, by the way. But this will be for the people maybe on the top 10 that don't get one of the 3 prizes. We actually have several of these Kiss Care packages that Mike sent us.
Yeah, he probably doesn't remember, and that's okay, Mike. But you and Sherry gave me tons of really cool Kiss Care packages to give away.
I don't even know everything that's in here, but there's a lot of stuff in here.
No, it's really neat. There's like all kinds of Kiss. There's like Kiss water bottle, Kiss pen and paper. It's just
luggage
really cool.
Tag.
Yeah.
There's like a notes thing, which I don't have any, so maybe I'll take one of these for me. But
the Meg teeth, guys, I see a lot of people with Meg teeth. Mike actually did give us a massive Meg tooth. It's not part of this giveaway. That is something. This thing is probably one that we actually are going to try to not just give away, but use to raise some funds to do some of these crazy journeys that we want to do. Like
hopefully
we'll set up with Mike, and we'll set up the ability to blow up a jet ski. And I'm hoping Gus is gonna. And I want to do it. This one. Do those things still exist? Where, like the cart, you push it down and that kind of blow up thing. So anyway, Mike found this thing, and he finds like a gazillion of them. I go with him, by the way, and I find like 3, and he's like, "Yeah, I did okay. I have like 40 on the same." 1 hour I don't know. Maybe I just can't see, but that's normal. Okay.
What am I doing wrong? All right, guys. So let's open it up for Q&A.
Yep.
Mike is here. If you have any questions for him or for us, feel free to shoot. And once again, thank you to everyone for tuning in. We have 212 people watching right now. And if you have any questions, we're happy to answer them.
Fire away with the questions, and they are coming in fast and furious right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, some people asked a lot in the earlier questions, where are you right now? Because they said they always see you. It looks like a storage house. Like they said, are you forced and locked into where are you?
I'm in the KISS warehouse.
Of course.
This is where I do, this is the bench that I do the electronics on, where the hardwired computers and things like that, make Fisher cables.
That's awesome. When he's not doing it on the fly, whatever we are. Everything breaks and Mike just fixes it with like a toothpick. I have no idea how he does that, but yeah. Let's see. For Woody, when I get open water certified, can I go alien evidence hunting with you? My God.
Well, it's funny you said that. We want to go to the place where we think that there are some alien stuff down below, like the spaceship, the one that we saw recently in the video. That's no natural formation. That's a spaceship. So but in general, that question opens up things that we want to do more of, which is we want to dive with you guys more. Yes. And we know we haven't made that available yet. We're trying to do more of it. It is something we plan on doing more of. Gus and I talked a lot about this in 2022. That's part of the reason why we're trying to raise more funds, is to be able to go diving with you guys.
Yep. Somebody asked me, they saw that I'm a Ayrton Senna fan. He's my favorite athlete of all time, and asking me if I'm rooting for any team this year. Not really. I don't follow the Formula One. I just like Ayrton Senna. I think he was the greatest athlete that ever lived. So, or the greatest competitor, because there's better athletes.
This is a great question for Mike. Mike, yeah, and I'd like to know as well, Mike, how is the CE certification going for the Sidewinder? And please explain what that is. A lot of people aren't going to understand unless you explain what that certification is.
So the CE certification is a standard by which equipment is graded. In the United States, it would be something like Underwriter Laboratories. So like on breathing equipment, they have specific requirements. It needs to be able to have a work of breathing less than a certain amount. It needs to have a duration of a certain amount. And if you meet the standards, then you get the rating. Since that is being handled by an independent testing company, I don't really know where we're at along that process.
Okay. But it is underway already? It's formally started?
It is underway, yes. And most likely we'll probably have to make revisions to the product to better meet the standards they're looking for, and test some more, and then make revisions and test some more. So it is a long, drawn-out process.
And the benefit of getting it is, would that open up the ability, I know it would for an agency I teach with SSI, more agencies then would allow the Sidewinder to be taught under their agency?
Yes, and for sales in Europe, it needs to be CE certified in order to be sold over the counter, basically, in Europe.
Very, very cool. A quick shout out, by the way. I cannot believe this. Patrick, did I just see Patrick give $200?
Patrick Shaner, yep, $200.
I'm gonna. He's coming to get certified with me
like
soon.
10 days. So
Patrick, I can't wait to have you in my little world. You don't know the journey we're gonna have together, where you're getting certified on the KISS Orca Spirit. Say hi to the guy who created it, by the way, Patrick. Mike. Patrick is my newest KISS Orca Spirit student, coming very soon.
Awesome.
He just gave us $200. And Mike, somebody else asked, I'm trying to get the questions mainly for you, because I have the same interest. How's your new project going in the Roaring River?
So last weekend, the weather held and we were able to get through the restriction. Let me back up a little bit and kind of explain the process. So in Roaring River, it's a fairly good sized cave down to 235 feet. And at 235 feet, there's a small crack in the rocks that allows a massive amount of water to flow through. And so if the flow rate is below about 70 cubic feet per second, we can pull through that against the flow and get through. And so we've had some dry months and the flow's been down, and we were able to get through the restriction. And on the other side of the restriction is this massive room. Well, there's a short tunnel for about 50 feet or so horizontally, and then it just enters this huge room. We have no idea the size of this room.
Wow.
We were exploring along the ceiling mainly, and we found a tunnel going up. And so last weekend we followed that, and we had to do our decompression stops even, and we did it.
Wow.
That's amazing.
We got up into a huge air bell. And so then we started trying to explore around some more, and there's a duck under into another air bell that's even higher. The first one is about 30 feet high of airspace, and the second one was about 45 feet high. And both these rooms are about 20 foot by 30 to 40 feet long. And so, good sized rooms.
So when you guys went into these rooms, like no humans have ever been there, right?
That's correct. That's correct. And we were hoping that there would be some dry cave there, and we could go, caving. But there were no leads going off of these air bells. So the next day we went back and we pursued going deeper. And we dropped a heavy line down to put to be able to hang safety bottles at 350 feet. And I tied in exploration line and went on down to 400 feet. And basically at around 390 feet, a projection was coming out from the wall that I was able to make a tie to. But other than that, we were just in open water, no walls to be seen anywhere.
Wow. So, that's how big that is.
But when you're at that 400 depth that you were at, any sign of the bottom at that point? Or
no, it's still wide open. So
you have no idea how much further it drops? So
then the next day we went in, and I dropped on down to 450, and I started meeting a wall, and it's now like stair stepping down on the bottom. So I'm actually on a bottom, but it's like a slope.
Diagonal bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have met a bottom, and there's not a lot of silt down there. And so I'm thinking that we might be getting close to the source water that's flowing into this room.
Wow.
But I had 15 to 20 foot visibility, and it was still just stair stepping on down. So right now the deepest natural cave, let me put that qualifier in there, is at 462 feet. Cave divers have dove a deeper cave called Good Enough Spring, but on top of the actual spring itself is 180 feet of lake water from a man-made lake. So they're only counting the cave part of that spring.
Amazing. So when you say we, did more than just you went through that restriction?
Yeah, so there's 3 of us that go through. John Lillistolen does our cartography and surveying, and I generally run line, and Randall Purdy was running camera.
So it's all being filmed. Is this possibly going to be a documentary?
Yes, the purpose is to film one real short documentary that the Park Service will use in their nature center, and the second one will be a full-length documentary.
How big is the restriction, Mike? 200 feet or whatever?
Well, I accidentally tried to go through it with a stage bottle on. I just had my side mount tanks, and I accidentally tried to go through it with the stage bottle on, and I couldn't make it with the stage bottle. So I can make it through pretty easy with side mount tanks, but not with the stage on.
Okay. We do have a bunch of other questions. Yeah. So somebody asked, what is our deepest dive? So for me, it's easy. 248, which is half of Mike's. So.
I'm close to right around 400. That was done by me in the Caymans, actually. We dropped down on a wall with the deep boat, as we called it. And, yeah.
How about you, Mike?
450 feet now.
All right,
Awesome.
450. Yeah, somebody asked if you have been to Bushman Hole in South Africa, but that thing goes to like 800 or something.
I actually did my open water near there. I learned how to scuba dive out in the edge of the Kalahari Desert in Thunder.
Of course.
Obviously.
Really shocked that you would be in some weird place to do that.
Yeah, that's where I learned open water diving.
Surrounded by sharks. Let's see. I mean, a bunch of questions came in, obviously. What is Mike's last name? Come on, Mike Young.
Young?
Absolutely. How do you guys deal with being narked?
Yep.
Don't get narked.
Well, listen, we don't want to be narked. Again, sometimes people don't think they're narked, so be careful. But typically what we do is we will switch and add a mixed gas. When we are at depths, in my case, if I'm ever going to go below 130 feet, I will bring in helium into the mix. So these guys do the same thing. And we base the amount of helium that we're going to bring in, judging how narked do you want to feel. In other words, do I want to feel like I'm only diving at 70 feet? Will be a certain amount of helium has to be in the mix. And there are formulas that you use to determine how much helium do you need in the mix to determine how narked you want to feel. And I want to feel pretty clear. Like I don't want my END, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
I call it my equivalent narked depth. I don't really want to be much deeper than 100 feet at the most. I don't want to feel any more narked than that.
Yeah. Somebody said, they asked a really good question. Super chat from Heidi. If you guys had to pick a place outside of the U.S. to move in with cheaper cost of living where you can do a lot of diving, where would you go? Has to be Asia, right? Like
Southeast
Thailand or
Asia,
something?
you
Yeah.
know, is magnificent. In general, cost of living is really, really cheap. You're not that far at that point from Indonesia, which I always say if there's a dive god, he blessed Indonesia somehow. Southeast Asia is amazing.
I'd go for the Yucatan. A lot of caves.
Yeah. A lot of caves.
Cool.
For sure. Let's see. Anything you want to change for the next generation of rebreathers, Mike?
Well, we're always trying to evolve and make them better. And if I knew what the next generation was, I'd be building it now. So it's kind of a trick question.
I did hear, though, some comments by you. Somehow you're talking about, I don't want to get too technical, but I know you said something like, well, there are things that are going to be changing with like the counter lungs and stuff. So is there something brewing with the Sidewinder that's a rather major change or not?
No, not major change.
Good.
Just small changes.
It's already
Okay,
perfect.
good. I'm like, whew, I love it the way it is. So
Okay, so somebody said this is very important. And I was just reading. Okay, here it goes. Thank you for your explanation about the Roaring River expedition. And is there any way we can support your expeditions?
Yeah, if you really want to. I don't know how we go about. I mean, you can send a link with my PayPal on it, and people can donate that way if they want.
Okay.
yeah, well, let us think about that a little bit as well, because
Yeah.
if people donate, they're probably going to want it to be to a 501c3. That's just a charitable organization, so it's
Yeah.
tax deductible. There may be something, Mike, we can do through the park itself that somehow those funds get specially allocated to your project so that you don't have to go through and set up a whole new entity. I'm thinking out loud on the fly, so let me give that some more thought. And that is something we should talk about, Mike, for you guys, for your benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does
I
get
was-
expensive. I mean, helium's not
Yeah.
cheap.
No.
We're putting in a heating system for an emergency situation in case somebody floods a dry suit and still has 4 or 5 hours of decompression. We want to keep them warm and just things like that, and it all adds up.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Here's another question. How can someone make of diving a career more than just a hobby? It's a good question.
Well, you start with $2 million, and then
If you want to be a millionaire diving, you start
Yeah.
with 2 million, and then you end up with $1 million. Yeah. This one, I don't know if you can answer this question or not, but somebody asked, what does the X-Deep takeover of KISS really means for the company and for the rebreathers?
Well, for me personally, I was at the point where I was going to have to either do some radical expansion in order to keep up with production, or just keep it as is. And I really didn't want to do the huge expansion. So X Deep taking over, they've already got the facilities and things to do the expansion, so they can, drastically ramp up production that I couldn't. And so and there's a lot of benefits to the company being European too, because there's a lot of markets that American made rebreathers can't be sold in. And X Deep will be able to do that. And so a lot of the customers that I've turned away in the past because they lived in countries I couldn't sell to will now be able to buy product.
Absolutely.
This is off a question that I just want to get out of the way quickly because it's been asked before. Is it possible to dive with small dogs? Please.
Really? You've been wondering
I don't want anybody out there to ever try it, just in case people are asking seriously, because you're going to kill the animal. So the answer is no.
Big dogs, though.
Never.
Okay. No?
No dog.
Oh, no. Oh.
Just get rid of it.
It's not their natural environment. And so can you imagine that the trauma you would be putting them through? I mean,
yeah.
It's just, it wouldn't be nice to do that to something you love.
Wow. Okay. So back to the the questions here. So I have super chat from Ramco. Thank you so much. So he says, I'm currently a PADI DM, Dive Master. Also have nitrox and getting my dry suit soon. What path would you recommend to follow into cave diving? So how do you go from being just a DM on open circuit to cave diving? First, you have to figure out what kind of cave diving you want to do, right? Open circuit versus rebreather, and then your path will change depending on what you want to do.
Okay. You want me to quickly answer this?
I mean, yeah.
So listen, I took that path. You took that path. So I would recommend, first of all, that you get CCR certified. I actually don't even think about cave diving unless I think about a CCR. I think it opens up just so much more safety, actually, when you are using a closed-circuit rebreather in a cave. I personally really do. You have a lot more options, Mike. You know that. Not only do we have the closed-circuit rebreather gas extender, but we have bailout options as well. So that's number one, and that's my opinion. And then I would get experienced on the rebreather, like at least 100+ hours on the rebreather. At that point, get with a cave dive instructor mentor and get in a good cavern class. Yeah. And then practice for a while. Good trim and buoyancy is everything when cave diving. When I say good, it's not good to the level that I used to think. It's really important that you have that nailed down. And at that point, progress slowly into the next levels of cave diving, which a good cave dive instructor can give you that journey. We are not cave dive instructors by any means. So that's a summary of the answer. Somebody asked a question about the Bear dry suit that I have, the X-Mission.
Okay.
How do I like it?
Let me add something right quick.
Oh, yes, sure.
Don't feel you have to be locked into a single instructor also, because a lot of different instructors can teach you different things. And it's not a bad idea to get instruction from multiple instructors and not just go through start to finish with only one instructor.
I did exactly what Mike said. Yeah. I actually went through a few different instructors to learn different things. And Mike, every time I've done that, I've learned different things. I mean, I've been with Doug, I've been with Brian, and I've been with Ed. I purposely seeked that out. And man, have I learned that. That's just an amazing point.
And it takes also the pressure of like passing or whatever. Like if you're going back for more training, but you already have the certification, you just want to get better, you're not going to pass or fail. You're just getting better. So a lot of that pressure goes out.
I don't even like to think the pass and fail thing, whatever. It's about more about the training. And
that's right.
The Bear X-Mission, just to get that out of the way really fast. I had a different dry suit before that. And my feet were always wet. It wasn't comfortable. I'm not going to say which one, but I'll never put it on again. I love the Bear X-Mission. It was custom built. I did the order where you get a custom built one. I think they took 24 different measurements. It fits like a glove. I got the built-in boots. I find those to be very good, less chance of leak, and man, it's just
Fits perfectly. That's awesome.
fits like a glove, and I'm dry every time.
There is a question here. It's more of a technical question for Expedition. I actually have this question too. You mentioned, Mike, that you hit a couple of air belts, right, when you were doing the Roaring River Expedition. What do you do when you come upon an air belt? Do you analyze the air before you take your rebreather off? If so, what device do you use? People are asking that.
No, we don't carry any kind of devices to analyze. That would just be more equipment to have to worry about. This particular case, we kept our rebreather loops in our mouth, and we just didn't breathe the air at all. If it had been a dry cave attached,
like with an exit to the world kind of thing?
Yeah, there's probably going to be, and a lot of times when we're sump diving, we don't have to worry about analyzing the air because there's flowing water through the cave. And generally when you have flowing water, it absorbs gases, and it also puts dissolved oxygen into the air.
No, I didn't know that.
A lot of times you don't have to worry about bad air in caves where they have a lot of flowing water. And so, but again, one of the easiest ways to test air is to carry a lighter, and if it lights, then there's enough oxygen, and if it explodes, there's bad gas. So,
I want to try that now,
wow.
By the way, don't do that to me because I want to try that with you.
Oh my God.
That's really cool. By the way, I didn't know that. So yeah, if there's flowing water and there's little air pockets, that probably cleaned those air pockets?
Yes.
There you go. Just learned something.
Well, water absorbs gases the same way, your body does. And so it's all on partial pressures. And so if you've got high levels of a gas in a little air pocket and none in the water is going to absorb over time. It's going to absorb the gas. At the same time, water does off gas too, and off gas is oxygen, and so.
Cool. All right. So Cole is asking, do you want to dive the Edmund Fitzgerald wreck? I don't even know what that is.
Yes, I don't know what it is. Yes,
but yes, we're in.
Yes. So I don't know.
It's really deep in the Great Lakes. Okay, a lot of really water, Woody. Decompression.
I changed my mind.
I'm going to change that to a maybe. I just did the Great Lakes with Mike.
I think the deck is at like 430 feet.
I'm going to have to go with that. The cold part is what's getting me. I just dove the Great Lakes with Mike. It was amazing. We saw some absolutely pristine wrecks. But when you hit 39 degrees on the bottom, I don't care what they say. Like, you'll get used to it. It's rough.
Yeah, when you go numb.
It's just tough. Every dive, you're putting on the dry gloves. It's just a lot of work. For me, it was kind of probably one of those where I did it, but I would rather dive warm water wrecks in like Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, that's why my wreck will be the Britannic, which is at like 330 feet. It's pretty deep too, but it's in the ocean in Greece, so it's not as cold.
Yes.
So that would be awesome. It's a sister ship to the Titanic. Identical copies. Titanic and Britannic. They're the same ship. But one we can actually dive in. All right. Let's see. Some other questions. Somebody asked when you started cave diving, Mike.
Around 1999, 2000, somewhere in there.
All right.
Cool.
This person is asking, question about becoming unconscious on a rebreather. Can the rebreather adjust the O2 level automatically and make you recover consciousness? Or can someone still breathe from a mouthpiece while unconscious? So 2 questions.
Well, yes, you can still breathe if the mouthpiece stays in your mouth. And if you just go unconscious, you're probably not going to spit it out. But if you have an oxygen toxicity issue and you convulse, you'll probably spit the mouthpiece out, and you won't. So KISS rebreathers has a constant mass flow of oxygen, and so your chances of going hypoxic and going unconscious are very slim. And so it'd be a bit difficult for you to get yourself into that situation. But really, it would be better just to prevent it altogether, and then you wouldn't have to worry about that question.
Yep. That's pretty much how I was going to answer it. And don't undermine that CNS oxygen toxicity issue. That's the problem. If you had this thing automatically, like, I can't imagine what you're saying or whatever, adjusting the O2 level. If you go unconscious and you're continuing to drop in depth, and then your partial pressure just continues to go through the roof, that causes convulsion. If your partial pressure of oxygen is too high, you're going to start convulsing, and then it's all bets off. You could spit the rag. You could die.
All right. This is a good question. I don't know if you can talk about it, Mike, or if something comes up really quickly. But somebody's asking, what is the scariest dive you've ever done?
Oh boy, there's been a few that been pretty, but yeah, probably the worst one was the one out in Santa Rosa Blue Hole where I was off the line and trapped, and 3 different occasions I thought, this is it, this is the way I'm gonna die, but I kept a calm head and worked the problem, got myself out. So
that's awesome. Yeah, and we have a video on that if you haven't watched it, where Mike kind of went into all the details on that. How do you guys decide on going with KISS rebreathers over all the other manufacturers? I don't think that's a question for Mike.
Well, they're the best.
They are the best.
I'll answer that. I think it's appropriate that I do because I got Gus into KISS rebreathers. For me, I had the privilege of meeting actually Doug Ebersol's daughter. Not even Doug, but Doug Ebersol's daughter worked as the manager of the dive shop I was an instructor at. And I think it's 10 years ago already, something like that. She basically said, what do you like to keep learning, doing more and more in diving? You've been diving forever. I want to become a rebreather instructor. I'm like, rebreather instructor? And her and another guy there, his name was Winston, had heard a lot about rebreathers. And he's like, yeah, we could do these things called rebreathers. And just imagine if me and you are like able to stay on the Spiegel Grove for like 2 or 3 hours. I said, I'm in. That was it.
Take my money.
I don't know what it is. I don't know how it works, but they were like, okay, but do you want it? I'm in. When? Order it. What? Order what? Like now. Like order it? That's how I am.
Let's
like, yeah, I'm in. Whatever. So Kim got to learn to be an instructor on me with her dad, Doug Ebersol, who was an instructor trainer on the KISS rebreather, overseeing it. That's how I got to meet Doug. And then
the rest is history.
Forget it. I mean, he's like he's one of my best friends. I mean, it's seriously, we text every day. Through that process, I also went to Interspace, which is an event in the Cayman Islands where we have Rebreather Week, if you will, and Mike was a speaker at that event.
Loves to speak.
And immediately I met Mike, and I was like goo goo gaga, pretty much following him around like the whole time. I just was watching his videos. I remember at the beginning, like saying to Doug, do you think he'll like maybe talk to me? Like just anything, like just say something to me. That's how I was with Mike. And I couldn't believe it. And he was so warm and welcoming. And he was like, let's dive. And he was just immediately Mike, like he is.
Yeah.
Like one of the greatest divers in the world. Just absolutely. And that's it. And then only later, I learned how great the KISS rebreather team and rebreather is.
Yeah.
Like most, I think, of the greatest divers in the world ultimately dive KISS. Really, they do.
For sure.
Because of many reasons beyond the time we have for this conversation of the various elements of safety, reliability, service, quality that you learn about with KISS. It turns out that I did luckily get associated with one of the best rebreathers. I then over time became an instructor. Gus was the same way. I'm like, do you want to do this thing, rebreather?
I'll do mine quickly.
He was hook, line, and sinker as well.
I do mine quickly. So Woody was kind of my mentor becoming an instructor, and he is always talking about rebreathers and cave diving and all of that. So then I started talking to him and asking him, and when he makes suggestions, you take it with a grain of salt every time. So he started suggesting that I get a KISS rebreather and get certified and all of this. And I'm like, well, you're kind of crazy, so I don't know. But then I started doing some research, and for once, the story corroborated what Woody was saying.
Usual.
Yeah. So I actually, that's how I got into it. I got a Spirit. Woody was my instructor, and then the rest is history, basically, after that. I did see a really good question. Oh, no, the comment I was going to make is for the meetup. We're going to meet with people in April. We have 20 people total, 19 people or something like that coming to South Florida. Mike is going to be there. Doug is going to be there. And it's funny because when I talk to the people that are signed up, I bet some of them are watching right now live. They're all like, oh my God, we're so glad we're going to get to hang out with you and Woody. I'm like, no. You don't understand. Mike will be there.
Yeah, like whatever. We're nothing
who cares?
compared to these guys.
Me and Woody are going to be there. It's like Mike will actually be there in person.
Exactly.
To dive. Like, why do you why are we a thing?
No,
like,
we're not, though.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, what's your longest dive? That I'm going to direct that to Mike. Mine was recent in a cave, very recently, a few weeks ago. Went cave diving. It was a little bit over, right around 3.5 hours for me. But Mike, what's your longest dive?
I was 10 minutes short of 8 hours.
Wow, that's like
nice.
That's a long dive.
That is next level. How much of that was deco?
Actually, not much. We were working a pretty shallow system.
Oh, wow.
And I think 70, 80 foot was our maximum depth there. That was just 8 hours of exploration.
Somebody asked, are there any KISS instructors in Canada?
Yes, I'm sure there are. I mean, I don't remember all the instructors, so it'd be
I mean,
that.
Shearwater is in Canada, so there's got to be somebody rocking KISS over there.
Yeah, we have instructors in almost every country.
Yeah, several people asking, where is the meetup and how do I sign up? The meetup was sold out within 6 hours of posting it. You know, it is very small. It was for 20 people only, and it just got sold out basically immediately. One of those that jumped in was Mike. Like, it's not I wasn't even thinking that Mike was gonna come, and all of a sudden he's like, hey, I'm in. Like an hour after I released the news. So yeah, we're all super excited around the end of April.
This is a cool question. 8-hour dive, how do you stay hydrated and fed? I know for my long dives, when I'm in the Caymans, they actually swim down. We're doing most of our deco at like 20 feet. So they'll swim down those little apple juice, plastic apple juice things where you can punch a straw in, and you just, close the loop really carefully. You sip some apple juice. It's a little salty, whatever, and that's how we do it there. You can drink a little bit. But I don't know, Mike, for 8 hours what's going on.
Bananas work good. Peanut butter in a Ziploc bag works really well. You tear the corner off and just squeeze it into your mouth. And the little juices. And then like a Camelback hydration pack works good for water.
Several people have talked about the Camelbacks.
Yeah.
Got to give that a shot. Let's see. Multiple people keep asking, what can we expect from the CE version of Sidewinder? I think Mike already answered that. Improvements until it gets approved, basically.
But I think overall he's saying, the summary, I don't want to speak for him, nothing major. Just probably some minor
it's going to basically be the same unit. So.
Yeah. I read a question earlier. How often does Mike work versus play? And how does he handle his work-life balance? Love the show. You guys rock.
Yeah, I work a whole lot, so I actually don't get to go out and play very often. Maybe twice a month we'll get out and do a dive exploration or something. And it's usually on the weekends. So, but probably 45 to 50 hours a week are guaranteed to be in the shop working.
Yeah, I mean, you have unlimited energy. Like when we did the Mech-Tooth hunt in North Carolina, he was like, I'm just going to drive right now all the way to Arkansas, and I'm going to go to the office and work for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Like, what? How? What?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we got off the dive boat, drove all night, rolled into town just in time to go to work.
Like,
I know.
Wow.
And eat. You have to eat.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Have you guys ever dove with full face masks? We get asked this question often. I have many times. At the Georgia Aquarium is the only purpose for me that I even want to use one when I'm doing what's called surface supply dives. So we have to have communication, comms with the tender who is monitoring our air. And it's for the purpose of not wearing tanks, because at the Georgia Aquarium, we have to get into very small areas where if you had a tank, you would not be able to get into it, for maintenance dives to clean these tiny environments.
Yeah. Somebody else is asking, when is the next meetup? They want to, when's the next one? I want to go to the next one.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the way we're thinking about this first meetup in April is really like a test also. I mean, we're not charging anything for it. We're just telling people to pay for their hotel and pay for their dives. Like, we're not getting any money out of this. We're not charging anyone. But the idea is for us to be able to run. How would it work for a large group of people to be able to dive with us? And with Mike and Doug and everyone else who's coming. And depending on the success of that meetup, then I think more meetups will come, maybe in bigger hotels, maybe in other places where we can shore dive, or I don't know what
maybe even a convention. We're talking about a dive talk convention.
Who knows?
In the future.
Could we have 200 people there instead of 20? You know what I'm saying? Like, how would the logistics work? We don't know what we're doing, right? We've never organized a massive 200 people, meetup. But I think we're going to learn some lessons on the one coming up that we can apply and then do it. I mean, I would love to meet with people at least once a quarter, to be honest. Every 3 months. And if this thing continues to grow and people want to dive with us, every month. Like, I don't care. I want to dive, and I want to dive with you guys. We just don't know really how to execute it.
That's right. We're going to be at DEMA, by the way. I don't know for those listening or whatever. We are going to be at DEMA, walking around, doing interviews, meeting with various companies, and just being at DEMA. We want to be there this year.
All right. Mike, people are asking, did they call you when those Thai kids got stuck in a cave, the Thai soccer team? Did you get a call to go rescue them?
Yes, I got a couple of calls, and I was on standby for quite a while. But I mean, they had Rick and Jason there, and so they didn't really need me, and so.
Yep.
Yeah, I got a call also, believe it or not, and from Joe Lewis, a multi-billionaire who is based out of Great Britain, and he actually owns the St. Regis and many other things. And he called me. He's like,
what's Mike's number?
Can I? No, he basically said, can I do something? Can I get you over there? Or do you know some guys you want to bring over there and help with this? And I actually talked to Mike about it. He may remember that quickly, but things happened so quickly. And then, like Mike said, there was a team like already over there or in transit. And, so that never materialized. And the guys that handled it were far, far, far more qualified than me. That's for sure.
All right, Dominic Little came in with a $5, $4.99 super chat asking, have you ever not been able to equalize your eardrums?
Yes, it's not good. Only thing you can do is either
dive.
Not dive, or if it happens at depth, you have to move up. That's extremely dangerous. You cannot overcome the pain because you're going to explode an eardrum, and many other bad things can happen.
Oh, this is a good question. I kind of know the story, but hopefully we get an abbreviated history here. Mike, when and why did you decide to make your own rebreathers? Do you have a background in engineering?
Well, my dad's an engineer, so I grew up learning engineering at, every conversation. So, but my background is really as a machinist and tool maker. And so I have the ability to build things. And so early on, I was diving open circuit and, spending a couple $100 on each dive in helium and thinking, there's got to be a better way. And, but my cave training was, you don't want to take oxygen past its maximum operating depth. And so strapping, a tank of oxygen on and taking it down to 300 feet and letting the computer add the gas really didn't appeal to me. And so I started building semi-closed rebreathers, which ran on, you could change your gases as you dive. And so it was basically open circuit, but the gas would last 5 to 8 times longer than open circuit. One of them was really good, and some friends of mine told me I should go into production, and I was like, no, I don't want to be in rebreather production. And so they said, well, you should sell your concept to one of the rebreather manufacturers. And so he invited me to DEMA, and I met with a few different rebreather manufacturers, and I liked KISS. And so I sold the concept to KISS. But their contingency was that I needed to actually go on board and start helping them develop new rebreathers. And so that's how, and it was a really good fit because, the mechanical rebreather was something that I was more interested in anyway. So it was a really good fit. And then the owner started having some health issues and attributed to the stress of the business and wanted me to take over. And so I did. And so in a roundabout way, I ended up in production of rebreathers. And so yeah, that's the background.
That's awesome.
What did you?
They're asking if you're wearing pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Well,
No.
actually,
It's Breast
no,
Cancer
but
Awareness.
I do love that
year-round, Woody.
that is their color. I have reasons that I wear pink. People have asked before, and I posted it a few times. It's a rather long explanation. I'm happy to post that again if you want to ask me that question, like on some other comments, or maybe later I'll comment on it here. It's an interesting explanation. There's multiple reasons, but I absolutely love it for many reasons.
This is a good question. People are asking, okay, I'm looking at Kiss Rebreathers. You guys sold me. They're the best. Awesome. But you guys make 5 models. So which one would be best for a new diver? So someone just wanting to learn how to get into
So the first question would be, what type of diving are you doing? Are you doing warm water diving? Are you doing cold water diving? Are you going to go dive really deep? Or are you going to be staying recreational? Are you going to be cave diving? Are you going to be going through restrictions? You know, there's a lot of questions that go into picking out a rebreather. It's not just something that I would recommend, you know, this. Personally, 95% of the time I dive my Spirit. I love it. The only other unit I put on is the Sidewinder, and that's when I have to go through a restriction. Or if I'm going into something unknown and there might be a restriction, I'll dive the Sidewinder. But the Spirit is a good general all-around rebreather.
Good for everything kind of thing.
Except for really cold water. Really cold water, you'd want to move to the Classic. It handles the cold water a lot better.
But you can put heaters on the Spirit too, right?
Or insulate the Spirit helps a lot.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's again, the Spirit's a good all-around unit. But if you were diving, you know, the Great Lakes all the time, that was the only place you dove. The Classic would be better for that. It has 2 onboard tanks. It's easier to mount. It's an easier platform for you to mount, like your dry suit inflation, a lot of things like that. But it's not easy to travel with. And so, you know, if you're traveling, you know, the Spirit's, you know, a better choice. So
somebody's asking, define cold water. When you said he's not great at cold water, what are you talking about?
I don't know, below 80 Fahrenheit.
Well, we do the testing at around 40 degrees. And so the Spirit runs really good above 40 degrees with insulation. If you go below, if you're diving long dives in below 40 degrees, even with the insulation, you know, the Classic's a better choice.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I agree with that answer as well. That's exactly what I do. 90 to 95% of the time I'm diving my Spirit, because most of the time I'm doing big open water ocean dives. The Spirit sits up. There's a really nice stand for it that Gus actually helped develop, so it sits upright, and you can get in and out of it very easy on a boat, Mike, as you know. Whereas the Sidewinder, I only dive the Sidewinder when I'm in caves, with restrictions or not. It's pretty much my go-to unit in caves because it just throws you into trim. But it lays down. It's a lay-down unit. It's kind of like you got to lay down to get into it. So for me, at least, that's difficult to have on the boat. But some people do dive it on the boat.
Yeah.
But I just find the Spirit overall, all around, to be the go-to unit. And now the Spirit is modular, like you didn't mention that, but you can actually buy the Spirit in a way that allows it to be rather easily converted into a Sidewinder if you later decide to go that route and want to also have a Sidewinder.
Yeah, some of the parts are interchangeable for sure. This is a good question. So, Mike, you're doing rebreathers full-time now, but what jobs do you have before getting full-time into rebreathers? What do you used to do before this?
Well, I was a tool and die maker, and I have my own machine shop, and so I worked for a variety of companies: Whirlpool, Ream, Hiram Walker. They were the major bottlers of Kahlua. I invented the machine that put the ribbons on the Kahlua bottles. I was able to do 180 bottles per minute. Nobody else was able to achieve that.
Wow.
So things like that. I just built. I do a lot of work for automation companies who are building automation machinery. They would do the design work, and then I would build
it
for them. So stuff like that.
Neat.
That's awesome.
Hey, Gail Orner, really fast. Shout out to her, number one.
yeah.
Big Kiss rebreather diver. She said, of course, because she loves it, the Kiss Sidekick is the best cold water unit. Now, I do value Gail's input. Mike loves Gail as well because she's always in cold water. I mean, all winter long, I see Gail out there cutting open ice, smiling away like it's a beautiful. She'll comment, "Man, it's a gorgeous day to go diving."
We dove with Gail at Peacock. She was in a 3 mil.
No, but I mean, I'm watching her in the winter, smiling and commenting how magnificent of a day this is to go diving, as the ice is being cut open that she's about to jump into. Like it's nothing. I'm like, oh my.
And she's correct. The Sidekick is excellent cold water because the counter lung is around the scrubber and it keeps the scrubber warm. And so it does excellent job in cold water also.
Gail is awesome. Heidi asked a couple times, what are we going to do when Dive Talk blows up? Like, can we envision doing this thing full time? I wish.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if I could just go diving and record videos and put them on YouTube? That would be awesome. We're not, this is not, by the way, we're not setting up to do this. Like, this is not, we don't want to be like full-time YouTubers. That's not our mission here. Our mission is to really share what we do, and we're passionate about it. But yeah, if someday we have 100 million subscribers, I don't know.
A million would be good. I mean, how about 100,000 would be amazing.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
No, I like what you said. Listen, it's fun and it's natural to be able to talk about something that you're passionate about. I really don't have any other real skills in the world other than just been diving most of my life. So, wow. Yeah, I would love to be able to sit here all the time.
Yeah. Super chat from Jerome saying, do we have any plans to come to that side of the ocean? Europe. That's what Netherlands is.
I mean, not immediate plans, but
we want to.
Oh, I have a trip to Scapa Flow next August.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, so maybe now we do. Sounds like we may.
No, that's the one with Joseph. They're going to Scotland.
Yeah.
But
is it cold?
But there's a ton of look. Mehdi invited us to go cave diving in France. Like he's like, guys, like I go to France like a month out of the year. Let's go cave diving in France.
So it sounds like the answer is yes.
Well, we don't have plans, so the answer is no, but we want to.
Okay.
Definitely. And there's caves.
Take that as a yes.
There's caves in Hungary as well. So.
Oh, there's all over Europe. I dove some nice ones in Spain.
Yes. So hopefully Mike can tag along. We should bring Mike.
Yeah. You should bring Mike.
Definitely should. Yes. I mean, all of this to me is like, I just wish we could do like every week this was happening. So of course.
Exactly. All right. People are excited. Ashley, super chat, $10. Super excited that you're on the show, Mike. She's giving you a shout out. Not even a question.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. People saying that you should be on the show more.
Yes.
How have you guys made a career in diving? We haven't made a career in diving. We just enjoy diving. And it's funny because I went to my physical. You know, as an instructor, you have to have a medical every year signed by a doctor that you're healthy enough to go diving and train people and all that. And the nurse, to get my blood out, she put that tourniquet or whatever in my arm, and it was so tight. I'm like, man, that is tight. Like I don't have a bruise, but it was tough. And she makes this joke. She's like, now I know you've never done drugs because that bothers you. That is too tight. And I'm like, no, I'm a diver. I don't have money for drugs. I don't have. What are you talking about? Just the fact that I was a diver should tell you that I've never done drugs. All right. Let's see.
I like this question. Hi guys, what have I missed? All right, well let's rewind the past hour and rediscuss everything that he missed. I'm just kidding. I cannot. We've been talking about a lot. We have Mike Young on the show, and it's been great. We've been talking about KISS and the history of KISS and various different units and deepest dives and just all kinds of good chat. Great questions have been coming up.
Absolutely. All right, Mike, how do you recognize the signs that you're about to go into panic, and how do you deal with it? I know there's various techniques. I only remember this from my training. 1, stop. 2, think. 3, act. So those are the 3 steps. Stop, think, and act. But how do you do it?
Well, for one thing, a lot of people, once you reach true panic, like 80% of the people can't recover from that. And so I'm lucky. I'm in the percentage that I can. I've had adrenaline hit me, been to the panic to the point where adrenaline hits, and I can still think my way through out of it. So, but mainly you just have to stop and make a plan. You don't do anything that doesn't have a purpose. You don't just wildly go to thrashing about and try to find the exit or something like that. You just stop and form a plan, because if you don't have a plan, you're not going to make it.
I asked Ed this question, and somebody just asked you this question as well. You've done body recoveries in the past, or you've helped, you've assisted. There's one that we posted recently with Ed in Dominican Republic that was the two of you that did that. And people are asking, have you had any PTSD from those body recoveries? Like, how have they affected you?
No, because I'm really good at compartmentalizing things, and when you're there, you've got a job to do. You do the job. You go home. You file that into a compartment, and that's done. So you have to be a very logical person who can compartmentalize the situations and move on.
Wow.
Here's a question I want to get on. First of all, thank you. Is it Karma? I can't
Dharma,
read.
yeah.
And then
Or
Peace,
Harma?
Love, and Serve, also $20. And that's the question I want to jump on. I'm an SSI instructor, which I love. I'm an SSI instructor trainer myself. And I'm on the West Coast. What's the best way to start down the Rebreather road? I do not have any long range or tech certs yet. The best way is to come over to the East Coast here in Atlanta and be with Woody for about 2 weeks and get certified with me on the KISS Orca Spirit. All in favor of that decision, raise your hand.
Absolutely.
Gus, hand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
There you go.
And I'll be there too. But if you're on the West Coast and you don't want to come to the East Coast, just find a rebreather instructor on the West Coast.
Yeah,
and get after it.
there's KISS rebreather instructors all over, and we're saying KISS. Look, I'm going to always say seek out KISS, but do your research and decide on what rebreather you want to dive with. And I do really think it's important to bond with your instructor.
Yeah.
That may dictate the type of rebreather that you're on as much as the rebreather itself.
Yeah.
You want to have a mentor that's going to continue to dive with you and help you grow. So it's not like I got certified and now my rebreather's in the closet and I never use it anymore, because rebreathing diving is a skill that you need to keep up with.
Absolutely.
It gets rusty fast, man. You can lose the skills quickly. Gus is always quick to say, hey, if you're teaching another class, I want to come and help. He doesn't need to do the skills. He's very proficient. He could be an instructor himself, but he likes to be there, I think, to help, and it also helps himself. We're always learning from each other.
I would like to also add, if you're contemplating more than one rebreather, then what you really ought to do is you ought to go and take a course on both of the rebreathers, because by the time the course is over, you'll know which one you prefer. And paying for a course is not very expensive compared to buying a rebreather and making a mistake, and then later finding out you wanted something different. And so even if you're looking at 4 or 5 different rebreathers, a crossover is usually a 2 to 3 day course and not very expensive. And so just cross over onto the other units and actually dive them doing the skills and find out, which one you like, and then you'll buy a KISS.
I was going to end it by saying, or you could just buy a KISS and save a lot of time. Honestly, there's just, if you want to private message me later, the person that asked that question of why do you keep saying KISS?
I think the key word that we're missing here, and I don't want to miss it, sorry to interrupt, is he mentioned, I'm an instructor, but I have no tech diving certifications. I think the question is more like, is it okay for me to go into rebreather, or should I do something else first?
No,
so I want us to answer that.
You don't need to. You're an instructor, so that means you absolutely have enough dive experience to now go directly into CCR diving, because the course is going to start you from the very basics. It's not going to care or assume that you have any tech diving experience at all. The courses are set up for exactly the level that you're at right now.
Okay, this is a good question from Greg. Does the average open water diver find themselves in dangerous situations? That's the question. A lot of your videos focus on what goes wrong, but does that happen to the average diver? Like
No.
the stuff that we review?
Very, very few. As a matter of fact, diving is off the chart on the overall safety per diver. It's posted by Dan. There's various statistics on dan.org, but it's got an incredible, incredible safety rating diving overall.
Yep. Scott is asking, was the KISS rebreather used during the Seaventures trial during the anniversary party a few years ago? You were there, I assume.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Were there KISS rebreathers used on that Seaventures?
Yes. All KISS.
Thing.
Those were all KISS. I ran that.
Yep.
And we called it a try rebreather event in the pool. It is something I'm planning on doing again. Seaventures, which is now Dive Ventures, has been asking me about that recently from the top ownership of the company down. The new owner of Seaventures, who is Dean Hollis, by the way, Mike, he reached out to me and very much wants to do a try rebreather event at Seaventures, and he himself wants to try the KISS Orca Spirit, potentially to get certified with me on it. So that is something that we are thinking about putting together again.
Yeah, that was a great time.
Yeah, that was awesome. And we'll be doing a try rebreather at the meetup too.
Oh, yeah.
That's another thing for the people coming to the meetup.
Sure will.
For free. Let's see. Do you use DIN or something else? We use DIN. Some of these are pretty quick. Okay, question for Mike. What are the upcoming innovations in CO2 scrubbing? Will they ever move beyond CO2 absorbent pellets or SORB, which is what we use now?
Yes, it will eventually move past that. There's a lot of research being done now that looks really good. And there was a company recently that was showing a product that was reusable. You could actually reactivate the SORB, and it was not as temperature sensitive, and so that was pretty interesting. But eventually they'll be able to go to either a film that can scrub the CO2 out, or an electrical mechanism that can scrub it out.
Wow, that's awesome.
Somebody asked if NASA has incorporated any of the rebreather technology into, I don't know, CO2 scrubbing, I guess, of the ships, but it may be the other way around, right?
Because cannot afford it.
Well, NASA themselves, has been doing CO2 scrubbing long before rebreathers were around.
Right, and they're not confined to space, like as far as the volume of space you take up for the scrubber, like we are, and so they can have much larger scrubbers and that are not as efficient because they have massive size, and so. But
it's the same technology, Mike. I mean, they have massive quantities of SORB?
No.
Scrubbers or something
They're
else?
using more of an electronic filter, I believe.
Okay.
I'm
next level.
I was reading something the other day about it, and so, but
everything on the internet is true, Mike, as you know.
But we no, this was never mind.
Okay.
There's a non-disclosure I have to. But we did make, however, the Perland project for a glider, and they were gonna attempt to run a glider up over 70,000 feet, and so we built scrubbers for their airplane, for their glider, and so.
Nice. All right, Matthew, thank you so much for the super chat donation. Hey guys, love the videos. Any updates on the subscriber-owned land in Suwannee? This is the thing that I talked about that somebody said, I have a spring in my property. No one has ever dove it. You guys should give it a shot. And I said, yes, we'll do it. And then that person disappeared. So I don't know. I mean, I haven't been able to contact them. However, we do have another thing on our sites. I won't be joining you guys because it's crazy. But Mike is very excited about it. Mike wants to go, and I'm trying my best to get us permits to go dive there, which is this. There's a spring in Florida, in South Florida, where the water is like hell. It's insanely hot, 100 degrees, the water. So unlike the beautiful 72 degrees that we get on the other caves in North Florida, this one actually has thermal water coming out of it. So it's hot. It's 100 degrees. So at the surface, it's a deep a deep sinkhole that goes into caves. At the top of it, the water is 84, which is okay. All right, I can tolerate that. But then as you go deeper and closer to the source of the water at the bottom, 200 feet is the entrance to the cave. As you get to 200 feet or 60 meters, the water at that point, the temperature is 99 degrees. And when you penetrate the cave, which you go into the actual spring, that's when you hit 100.
Perfect. I'll be wearing only my 5 mil, which is amazing. So I want to do this. When are you going to get that?
Okay, so it goes down to like 300 feet. It's a decently deep cave, and it was explored up until the point that there's a restriction where they couldn't get through on back mount doubles, but there's more cave. It's just it came too small and people couldn't fit through it, and that's where they stopped. So it's like that's where they stopped mapping the cave. So I'm like, if we can get a permit, like I'll join you guys to like 60 feet or something when it's too hot. And
on
that? Like, see you all later.
Are you working on that? Or just
I am working on. Well, I mean, I sent an email. I feel like I've done more than all of you combined. But, so I sent an email out asking to see what can we do to go dive it. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to it just because it's so hot. Like if the temperature was like 80 something all the way to the bottom, that would be amazing. I'll be first to go to the bottom, but. Yeah, so you can dive there without a permit. The last people that dove there was in 2015.
Man, I really want to do that.
Yeah, and that person also couldn't make it past that restriction. So they were like, okay, I guess I made it to the end of the line. There's nothing more to see. And I'm like, what? Like,
we'll be on the Sidewinder.
Mike would fit through that on a Spirit.
Well, and we'll be on the Sidewinder, so it's very achievable.
Exactly.
Okay,
and yeah, thank you to everyone, by the way, upgrading, either becoming members or upgrading your membership to the higher levels. I would really appreciate that. Like I said, every dollar that we get from our members goes into creating more videos. So that's why we value.
So are you
going
to give the rules exactly how they go about now doing the contest? Don't you want to talk about that again? Because we've had a lot of new people join the channel. What the contest is and how they get the videos to us, and when is it going to be judged? And also, wasn't there something else you were going to talk about for the Argonauts? Like something you were giving.
Oh, yeah, but that's later. So just super quick, we have 3 big prizes for the giveaway, the 50,000 member giveaway. We're giving away a Shearwater Peregrine. We're also giving away a Orca Torch D630, which I have here somewhere. And we have a weekend at the lake house, Woody's Lake House, where you can hang out with us. Right, during that
Boat,
weekend,
jet ski, etc.
If you want to, right? We'll come by and stop by. But the contest is you have to create a video, 2 to 3 minutes long, short video, where you are basically impersonating Woody and I. You're recording your own dive talk video. Now, my wife did say this is going to be hard for somebody to do it on their own, but I think if one person can shoot it by themselves, like playing both of us, and then cut it in a way that makes it hilarious, it's going to be hard to beat. So, like, the most creative subscribers that we have a big chance.
But it's easy on my part. Just talk normal and rational, and then, you're going to be weird with the quirky, crazy self, Anyway, that's what I was thinking.
All right. So, basically, you have a week to submit a video to us. Once again, upload it to YouTube. Make it unlisted or private. Don't make it public. And then send us a link, info@divetalk.com. We'll review all the videos. We'll pick the top 10 or so. And then our Argonaut members will actually be the ones voting for their favorite.
But what's the deadlines? Like, when do they have to have
1 week.
They have a week from is it a week from today?
Yeah, a week from today. So all the way until next Friday. A week from today to submit the video. And then we will have like a week or two to review and vote and whatnot. And then we'll give away the prizes. So
there you
that's
go.
How you do it. That's awesome. Somebody says, cool Doug. Mike, let's see. Heidi's saying, quit giving away my plan. She was already planning on doing a solo video. But anyway.
Are you easily offended, guys? Can it be super edgy? I mean, yes, but, not like...
we want to be able to... By the way, the winners, we want to play them and react to them.
Right, so it's got to be appropriate to be able to play on YouTube for the general world to see, if that answers that question.
Yes. Mike, they're asking what's your duck's name?
That's Roni. She's the Kiss shop dog.
Ronnie. How do I get trained by Woody?
Easy. Call Sea Ventures, and they're based out of Alpharetta. Sea Ventures is SEA, V as in Victor, ENTURES. SeaVentures.com, and I'm teaching all the time. I got back from the Keys trip where I taught many classes and would love to do that with anybody.
Yep. So they're asking, can we do F-bombs? I would prefer not to. Again, once again, we want to show it. We'll laugh, but we might not be able to show it. So that means you won't get a prize. Let's see if we have any more questions. I mean, I think we should start wrapping it up. We've been live for almost an hour and a half at this point. Does anyone in your family dive with you?
Yes. For me, my 2 daughters both dive with me open circuit diving. I have 2 daughters that are pretty good open circuit divers. My wife would prefer to be at one of the nice clothing stores in the area that we go diving.
Yep. Likewise, my wife too. So no one in my family dives except for my brother, which I saw he tuned in. But people might be confused because we have the same name. So they saw Gus Gonzalez asking questions. They thought it was probably me.
He's really nice and a cool guy, and I really like him. He's super cool. No, he's nice and he's polite and he's a really good guy.
So I have a brother who's a diver. His name is also Gus Gonzalez. So we have the same name. And he's actually coming on the trip with us.
I know.
Patrick.
Awesome.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. Let's see. Do you all have tracking numbers when you ship out the giveaway prices? Like, this guy's already like,
we do.
When can I get my tracking number?
We do.
He already thinks he's going to win. Have you guys been diving in Washington, Giant Pacific Octopus, in Tacoma, or under the Tacoma Narrows Bridge? I haven't. Any spots in North Carolina you can recommend diving at? Mike, what do you think? North Carolina.
Meg ledges for sure. And then further north a little, they have some good wrecks. And the sand tigers come in. Great diving up there.
One of the things that we did talk about with Mike, a meetup type of dive, Mike, for Meg shark tooth hunting, where we fill up the boat with, I think when I say fill up, I don't remember, Mike, is it 6 or 7 people can come with 6? So it could come with us to go Meg.
Well, it'd be us plus 3.
So really 3. So that could be one that we eventually get hooked up to as well. We have a lot planned for next year, but you go Meg tooth hunting with us. How cool would that be?
Anyway. That will be awesome. Slowest with a super chat asking what watch am I wearing? It's called a Rolex Deep Sea Dweller. So every one of the watches I have are mechanical, except for my favorite watch. Actually, this is not a whole lot of people know this, but my favorite watch is actually a Casio calculator watch. $15. I pay for it, and there's a story connected to it. I don't have time for the whole story, but that's my favorite watch.
That's my favorite watch.
This one is a Deep Sea Dweller. There's a story connected to this watch. Of course, I bought it in the Bahamas, and I love it. It's they're called a diver watch, but check this out, waterproof to 12,800 feet.
Cool.
Just in case you need.
Like it falls off a boat and somebody finds it someday, and it's still
in a submarine, I assume.
I guess
they'll be blown away. Imagine an octopus wearing this thing. They'll be like, explain that. People are asking, do I take it diving when I go open circuit diving? I do. Not on the rebreather because my wrists are busy with computers. Okay, I think that's it, guys. If we miss any questions, I apologize about that. I just wanted to. Once again, and our plan was like 1 hour, but we went for an hour and a half.
It's hard
that's
not to with Mike's on. I mean, Send the videos, everybody. Don't forget, we're having this video contest.
Yeah. By the way, I wanted to mention there's a couple of products that I've been trying to get for us to test because people have asked questions like, what do you guys think about the Garmin computers? I would love to test it. I mean, I'm not just because we say the sheer water is awesome doesn't mean other computers are not awesome. I've never dived with a Garmin or a whatever, so I've actually reached out to Garmin twice and asked him to loan us, like not even give it to us. Hey, let me borrow a computer so I can take it out diving. I'll test the air integration next to my sheer water or whatever and just give an honest review of what I think about them and zero interest
for
on
me,
letting us test.
And for me, that is the only way. Is I just have to dive with it, and actually, I need to dive with it multiple times. I find that if I only go diving with a computer one time, I'm not giving it enough opportunity for me to get really familiar with all of its functionality. So I would need to dive with something multiple times to really give my honest viewpoint in various different situations and various different gases that I'm using of how I feel about a computer.
Right.
I just have to use it in various different scenarios.
Yep. So I've done that, and I've heard nothing from them. I've also done that with other companies. Again, as soon as people ask us, "What's your opinion on this item?" I'm like, I'm not gonna bash it or anything because I have no experience. But if they let me loan one to test it, happy to put the review online. Some people have reached out to us for us to review some stuff. Like we have some tank pants that we want to review. Pretty awesome.
What do you have a dive
Check
watch?
this
I'll
out.
just repeat. I'm always wearing the Tarek dive computer. I have pink, and it's set on pink color, and it's a shearwater dive computer.
I'm excited about these tank bands that we're gonna be
Oh,
reviewing
Yeah, those are
on
cool.
the next dive. Let me see if I can get him to focus on it. They're custom. No, there it is. So it has our names. Somebody from Germany sent us this. They're
awesome.
called Deluxe Dive Gear. They make like amazing gear, by the way, and they sent Woody and I amazing tank bands.
Yeah, mine are really pretty. My thing is pink with the word Woody on it.
He was concerned because these
really
are
cool.
He's like, unlike the ones they sell in the U.S., these are hardcore. Like,
No, but they really are great for like stowing your regs and all that.
Yeah, so I'm like,
they're on my tanks now.
cave divers want hardcore. They don't want this stuff to be flimsy and moving out.
Well, everybody,
be
let's
reviewing them.
let's
We'll be
wrap it
reviewing
up. So what I would like to conclude by saying is, first of all, Mike, thanks so much, because honestly, you really are the star. I mean, I've said this a million times. Gus and I, we're honored to be able to do this kind of stuff. We get to bring people like Mike on the show and expose the world to the world's greatest divers, and that's a real privilege that we have this medium to be able to do that with. So thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you. The pleasure
absolutely.
is mine.
Yeah, thank you. And people want him back on the show, so we gotta plan that and go to Europe.
But not just on the show here in the studio. We need to be diving more with Mike, and doing some I want to be in the 100-degree cave, really
And I wonder if we should go this week. I wonder if we should go to Arkansas and go to the Kiss factory and do a video from
No,
all
I
that.
was supposed
Would people-
to, and I had
would
to
people
cancel.
watch that?
Remember, Mike? I set that up. I invented
you had your
that.
chance. You had your chance.
I
I'm sorry.
freaking set it up. I thought of the whole thing. Gail jumped on it, and I had an unavoidable conflict. But I want to go there. I am like a factory worker. I want overalls when I'm there, and I do not want to be treated special. You're gonna start by stamping these or whatever I'm gonna be trained to do, and that's my job.
Sweeping
I
the
wanna
floor, I
learn.
think, is the first job.
I don't mind.
right.
I will sweep. When you see how clean my floor will be,
It's gonna
I
be
will
amazing.
progress to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. But yes, thank you. We have to come up with some new ideas and make it happen. But thank you everyone for tuning in. And good luck on the contest, right? We're looking forward to watching your videos and giving away a winner, giving away 3
Yes.
amazing prizes, plus the Kiss, packages that we have, the care packages that we have as well. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.